High up above the Eden Valley and overlooking the Hellgills to the south is Greatasbyscar, a uniquely treacherous landscape, a forbidding place of rough moorland and challenging limestone pavements. And in this landscape you will find castlefolds, allegedly a Romano British settlement. But it's no ordinary Romano British settlement. It is located surrounded by limestone pavements on a rocky knoll in a really difficult place to get to. It had high defensive walls, 4 meters, and internally the setup is unlike your standard Romano British homestead. And there are also signs, doing the spooky voice, of it coming to a hostile and very deliberate end. How Romano British were these people, if at all, choosing to live in this really inhospitable place as opposed to in the verdant valleys down below? So that's what we're going to take a look to this week, and please be assured that the universally loathed AI co-presenter has been sacked. She will not appear again, and hopefully they've adjusted the purple lighting as well. I think sometimes my videos inspire people to go and visit the sites that we show on the channel. In fact, I actually know that they do, because Cappuccino Driver #1 has just commented to say that they have been to see the scary barrows that I visited back in January. So I thought with this site, because of the treacherous terrain, I'd show you the route that I took. I parked here and then followed this wall line up here until you get to this rather charming cross. And that's what I call a Batman angle, where the GoPro has failed to keep the horizon level. And then eventually you'll get to this gate, which you go through, and then you pick up this path, follow that down, looking for a grassy turning on the left. And then it's up, up, up. And if you're a YouTuber, there are plenty of opportunities for shots like this on the way. Eventually you'll reach the trig point, and then you will very clearly see castlefolds beyond that, surrounded by its off-putting limestone pavements. I'm sure you have absolutely no idea of the trouble that I go to bring you these unique antiquarian surveys. Now, don't look at that. That's a medieval shieling. We need to look at this over here. I mean, look at this. This is substantial. Even though it's toppled down, we can see what this would have been back in the day. It is atypical for a Romano British settlement, far beyond the normal pathetic sort of defences to try and ward off the cattle raiders. Right, I'm not going to try and do any pointing because it always messes up the focus, but you can see the wall there at the bottom of the shot. And then if we zoom in over there, somewhere up there, maybe I'll put an arrow in the edit, is Maiden Castle, a Roman fortlet. And then somewhere down there, I'm not even going to try and guess, is another Roman fort. That's the one at Bruth. The Roman road is running down there through the Eden Valley. There's another Roman road over there. As I cross back into this Romano British camp, we can see that they're high up, but they're surrounded by the Romans. Now, the settlement doesn't cover the whole of this knoll. Here on what I guess is the northern side, we have the wall there. There's still a bit of knoll left over there, but the survival here of the structure is really good. But it doesn't in any way reflect what it would have looked like back in the day. I mean, look at that there. You've got the sort of huge inner slabs. I can't remember what these stones are called. I'll put it on the screen. But they're still sort of in situ there, showing how the wall would have been lined on the inside. And as well as being unusually serious in its defences, there's a story here at this settlement in terms of its end. Now, experts have worked out that, so I'm on the outer side of the wall here, that the way these stones have been pulled out all the way around the circuit here show that it was deliberately destroyed. And it was destroyed from the outside as well, which wasn't the easy way to do it. If it was just robbers come to get the stone, the normal sort of thing we get, that had done it on the inside. I am getting a little bit worried, you know, about all this mumbo jumbo. I'm in a hut circle, which is built into the northwestern corner of the settlement, and I feel sort of all Celtic and connected again. Now, this is one of 12 identified hut circles, and they're all up against the wall with the centre of the settlement left clear. And that is atypical for Romano British settlements. You'd normally only have sort of a couple, 2 or 3, and they'd be at the far end of the settlement, as opposed to here where they're all around it, up against the wall. And there's another lovely bit of the original inner facing stone left there in situ. Fantastic. Oh, my Celtic ancestors built this. Now, I hope you can see that okay. On this side, we can actually see the remains of the embankment that the wall sat on top of. I will respectfully climb on top of it there to give you some sense of the profile of it. Here on the northern side, this natural knoll that they built the settlement on top of really does make it a formidable place. And you've got to imagine this 4-metre wall up on the top here. And I can see bits of that sort of cascaded down there from when it was scuppered. And why would you, if you're going to break this place up, do it from the outside unless it was with malicious intent? And why would you try and gallop across all of this limestone? You just wouldn't, would you? So over here on the northern side, a couple of smaller hut circles. I left that mistake in back there because I don't want to stop being... I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted that I left that mistake in because I don't want to ever stop being an authentic YouTuber. I think when you start making your documentaries as if you're on mainstream media, what is the point? I want to be authentic. Anyhow, as we come along this side, another couple of hut circles there. I can't remember how many from Collingwood's plan, but beautiful. And then up here in the southwestern corner, we have what is probably the best preserved of the hut circles. I'd have loved to have got the little fake camera up to show you this from above, but as you just saw, the conditions are not great. But here I am in another Celtic home, and you can really sort of see it and get the sense of it. And then to complete our antiquarian survey of the site, I'll stand here. This is the entrance to the site. The wall clearly ends there, clearly there, so there's a gap. And then if you look straight ahead from here, there are signs that they have cleared a way through the limestone to ease access to their site, whilst also being awkward for any awkward people. Now, whilst I said in a somewhat over-aggressive manner earlier to ignore this, the medieval shieling, it is worth noting that its outer wall is our settlement wall. We love Collingwood here, and he thought that this site predated the Roman period. In fact, he went so far as to say that he thought that it was a fort, a Brigantian fort, and I really adore his sketch plan here. That in turn led I.A. Richmond in 1933 with his less good plan here, but still quite charming, to speculate further that this may have been one of the Castella Brigantum mentioned by Juvenal. Anyhow, whoever was here clearly was in fear of someone. I'll use this on the way back to see if I can get some elevated shots of the knoll that is home to this highly unusual Romano British settlement. So what are my views? Why is it so heavily defended and so atypical? Well, I don't know the answer, but I tend to agree with Collingwood to the extent that they weren't very Roman. These were clearly native Britons living here and building a settlement that's sort of more in the style that had existed before the Romans came along. But why are they hiding up here amidst jagged threatening limestone pavements on top of a freezing cold windy hill, cowering behind a 4-metre high wall. Someone was worrying them, clearly, for that to have been the case, and it's something more than just worried that someone's going to come and nick their sheep or whatever it was that they were into. I guess there's two options. We know that one of the reasons why the Roman conquest of Britain was relatively easy was because the natives were always squabbling amongst themselves. So their enemy could well have been another tribe or another sector of the tribe. Alternatively, I guess we have to countenance the idea that the Romans got a bit fed up with this awkward bunch up here. They're surrounded by roads and forts. So maybe it was the Romans that came along and closed this settlement down. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Meanwhile, I've got to head on back now and try and get across this treacherous limestone and get back to the studio to do all the filling in. As ever, on getting back, I have formed a different opinion, and I'm going to lay my cards on the table to you now. This is what I think happened. Look at this map. Sorry, a bit aggressive again there. Here is the Roman fort of Vertaris, established around AD 79, and here's our British settlement. Now, I think the legions posted down there would not have been very happy about having these friendly natives up there looking down upon them and their important strategic road. I reckon that one day hundreds of Roman soldiers marched up there and yanked the stones out of the wall to save all this fort. What were the natives going to be able to do about it? How many were living here in 12 huts? 60, 70, 80 against hundreds of Roman soldiers? They would have been powerless. That is what I think happened. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments down below what you think. A chilling thought. I hope you've enjoyed that. Better than last week's debacle, I feel. And I'm going to now set off back, so please like and subscribe. I do need some cheering up, so please like and please subscribe. And if you're that person who keeps disliking all the videos, just give me a break this week, will you? I'm having a difficult time. I'm going to head off back across the limestone, making sure that I don't fall into those grikes and clints, or clints and grikes. I never know which way round it is. So if you do come out here, watch out yourself for those. They're pretty lethal. Thanks for watching.